What's up? What's up? What's up? Welcome to the All Around. I'm your gracious host, Dr. Anthony. Please tune in on Mondays at 6 p.m. for your entertainment purposes. We will hit current topics, old topics, and everything else in between. Be there or be square. Deuces, my loves. Hi, welcome to another great episode of the All Around. I'm your gracious host, Dr. Anthony, and we have some amazing topics for you tonight. Some things that we did not discuss on the last show, we will be discussing today, and some new topics. So tune in. But without any further ado, let's go ahead and bring out my producer, Mark Lee.
How are you doing, lovely lady? As always, you got all kinds of things going on, and you're just doing amazing things as you always are doing. So, just glad to be in the house with you and to share this time with you on this particular Monday and all along those lines because you always got great things happening. We actually had something that you might have been interested in last Saturday, this past Saturday, because here at the Hayti Center, which y'all can tell I'm at, and everything, we had a woman that did a play about anxiety. So it was all about being stressed out on anxiety and all in that space. It was actually a psychologist, Tanya Armstrong, but then Mia Love did the production and all along those lines. But she was diagnosed when she was 13 and was talking about how she has coped with anxiety and has made a multimedia presentation. So we had a family fun day, and then the presentation was done on Saturday afternoon. But I was just amazed, and there was a young lady that was, I think, herself 13, that we've got these young kids that are saying that they are having anxiety and are facing anxiety and I guess the stresses of life and everything that us adults talk about. But sometimes that anxiety can hit even the kids as well. So like I said she was diagnosed, and I think she self-diagnosed herself, and then when she went to the doctor agreed with her and all along those lines. So I'm sure you probably have some students that might be anxious as well.
I mean, we always have children who suffer from like mental health issues and things like that. One of my pet peeves is I don't diagnose children. I let the doctor who is trained in that field. I can offer my opinion to what I think, and things like that, because some of it is mental, where you think that you're sick and you end up being sick but not actually sick. So I just leave the diagnoses, to, the other people who are, trained in that field, because, mental health is actually my second field. And so although I'm good at it, I still don't diagnose and, things like that or whatever. And then, when you start thinking things, you become those things, you start doing those things. So I tell people, try not to, have that anxiety, that fear, that stress level and things like that, because that's what you become over time if you continue to think about it, if you continue to manifest it, and you continue to put it out there and things. That's what you're going to become, a nervous, anxious person. So I try to deter people from doing that. But hey, some people are actually nervous, some people are actually anxious, and yeah. So
It makes a lot of sense. But like I said, the young lady was talking about how she had to face, I guess, those demons and get those demons to understand that they were
mhm,
not real nightmares and that they were things that she could conquer and that she could get by, and to understand that a lot of it was, like you just said, in her mind, and to get past those fears. She said she very much seemed like she was in the
mhm,
mindfulness space, and said that she loves to meditate on a regular basis to make sure that she is not being overridden by those fears, because we can get overridden by all kinds of fears, some real and some imagined and everything. And speaking of
mhm.
real and imagined fears, I guess Donald Trump had a fear because he didn't think that he was going to get busted, and he got busted on all counts, and now he's got to go to New York and deal with the sentence in July. I don't remember what month it is that the sentence will be, but he's already got his people up in arms, and even one of your favorite people, Marjorie Taylor Greene, was trying to go after Dr. Fauci earlier today and everything, saying that it was made up science, and somehow she brought up beagles. What dogs have to do with what Dr. Fauci was doing is beyond me. But she brought up this notion of the beagles and the beagles being horribly treated by scientists and all along these lines. But she was bringing up some more of her craziness and her rants and everything. So I don't know what your thoughts are, because some people were shocked that he got convicted of. I even know some
I
people who
mean,
think.
my thing is, why are you shocked? This man committed a crime. This man committed treason. He did, he did a lot of things, and I'm surprised they didn't get him on the RICO Act, with racketeering and things like that. But that just goes to show you that when they want a person innocent, they would do everything in their power to, deem that person innocent and to get them innocent. And it's real funny because my thing is, with all the young Black people that are saying that they're supporting Trump and they feel like Trump did this and Trump did that. If you were in that same position, and this is my challenge to you, if you were in the same position as Trump, then you as a Black person and things like that, would you get the same treatment in the court of law? Would you get the same, protections and things like that that he has been given? Would you get them fighting for you the way that they're fighting for him? Would they do the same for you if you were in that situation?
No, the
That's
answer to
my
that
thing.
is the answer to that is a resounding no. I can actually almost see the courthouse from this particular office that I'm at and everything, and I can guarantee you that if I was to go down to the courthouse, or even go down to our local jail and all along those lines, there are probably a number of people that would love to have the same kind of benefits that Mr. Trump, former President Trump, had, and they are nowhere near having that. And we do know that the court system is rigged, and that the whole prison system needs some major overhauls. But yeah, that we would not get that kind of treatment in the least bit. There's no doubt in my mind that we would be probably maybe be under the jail if we were dealing with some of the crimes that he was accused of.
Well, the thing about it is, it wasn't an allegation and it wasn't an accusation. It was actually truth. This man committed crimes, and the white people want to say that he did not commit crimes. But to the Black people who are out there who are strong stance for Trump, like I said, when you go to that voting poll and when you think about who you're supporting and standing, in that platform, does this person's values align with yours? If you were to get in trouble, would they support you the same way? And we basically already know the answer. And even with the young Black Republican who was basically out there doing what they were doing, and was arrested where in North Carolina, South Carolina, and I'm not sure if he's still in jail, but he couldn't make the bail and things like that. None of those white Republicans went to his defense. None of those white Republicans gave any money towards getting him out of jail. So my thing is, you can sit there and believe that these people support you after the lies and the BS that they're spewing and things like that or whatever, because all they want is your vote. And once they get your vote, they're going to toss you by the wayside. It's evident in the policies. It's evident in how they, how their actions and interactions are and things like that. And so, to the young Black people who are actually out there saying, we had money under Trump, you did not have money under Trump. It was the Democratic Congress or Senate or whatever who passed the bill in order for you to even get the money. Trump had to sign his name because he was the commander in chief. So yes, his name went on the check, but no, they did not give anyone any money. And I tell people all the time, when you look at the tax codes and the tax breaks and things, they gave all the tax break to the rich. They didn't give you anything. When they gave out the first stimulus check, it was a loan. You had to pay it back. That's why your taxes were reduced the way that they were reduced. President Biden, he extended earned income credit for people who have children and gave back a lot of credits that Trump took away. So my thing is, y'all sitting out here talking about Trump did this and Trump did that. Trump didn't do anything. This man does not give a rat's ass about any of you. And it's quite evident. And I mean, my thing is, I don't understand the infatuation and the fetishizing of, trying to be in the same space with this man, saying this man is brilliant. This man is not brilliant. This man is a complete idiot. Every business that this man has purchased and has touched and had some part of failed and went under. He purchased businesses for a lot of money but sold it for less, not making money off of it. Even Trump University, he promised people with dreams and wild fantasies and things like that, but yet and still he was sued, and people receive their money, well, some of their money back and things like that. So I don't understand where the notion that this man is a genius, where this man is, super smart as a businessman and as a person or whatever. has come, and why the Black people are so infatuated with being a part of this mix and being a part of, oh, I support Trump. It's a fallacy for any of you to even believe that way and things like that. And you're talking about you have more money. You did not have more money under Trump. These people played mind games. They played the numbers. They increased the taxes on you, the poor people, and the middle class, and they gave all the tax cuts to the rich. So, like I said, if you really understood what was going on and what was happening, you would not vote Republican at all. You
I
have
hear what you're saying.
the gerrymandering is, excuse me one second, where the gerrymandering is, taking place, where they're changing boundary lines so that the Republicans can always win and the Republicans can always be in power. So, I mean, I don't understand why you are sitting here supporting these people when you know firsthand that this is things that they're doing and this is things that they have done. They're making laws where people can't give you water when standing in the line. If they give you water, they're gonna get arrested and they're gonna go to jail for felony for giving out water. So my thing is, y'all need to take into account all of these things, because you don't understand. When we were out here trying to tell you not to vote for him the first time, and we needed Hillary in office, when we could have gotten 2 to 3 Supreme Court justices that we wanted on the Supreme Court, but y'all played around and y'all let him got in office. Y'all let him get in office, and he put some of the most conservative Supreme Court justices on the Supreme Court and things like that. And then you wonder why none of your things that go to the Supreme Court is passing. When Biden came out that said he was going to give people who received Pell Grants $20,000. It was the Republicans who shot it down. It was the Republicans who ran the shadow campaign with the Supreme Court to get them to vote against it. So that's why you didn't receive the money. So I don't understand, why y'all sitting out here talking about Trump this, Trump that. Oh, I'm Republican this way and I'm Republican that way. What are you a Republican for?
But you got people that are, Dr. Anthony, you're getting no argument from me on anything you said, but you got some people out there that are literally changing their minds and changing their affiliations, because there was a major football player that just recently announced that he was switching from the Democrat to the Republican Party. And while he might have been great on the field, and I'm not knocking him, and he had some ties to North Carolina, Lawrence Taylor has now come out and said that he can no longer be a Democrat and is going to switch to the Republican Party. So, and I think there might be some other ones that have been saying some other silliness as well. So, like I said, he's coming out there and saying that he's ready to be a Republican. Who knows? He might even try to run for a North Carolina office and everything. But this is one and you can respond to that in a second. But this is one I'm really curious to hear your thoughts around, because down here where I'm at in North Carolina, this came out down to Pike earlier today. North Carolina House Speaker Tim Moore and other House Republicans are sponsoring a newly filled bill about citizen voting laws called HB 1074 that would not change who can vote in the election, but would alter the wording of the state constitution. The state constitution already only allows U.S. citizens to vote in elections. This bill, which if it is passed, would be voted on by North Carolinians in November and eventually become an amendment to the Constitution, could change the wording. So instead of saying, in the fine print, the bill would change the Constitution from saying every person born in the United States and every person who has been naturalized can vote, to only a citizen of the United States who is 18 years of age and possessing the qualifications set out in this article shall be entitled to vote in any election by the people of the state. So it sounds like they are trying to make it harder to vote here, just like they're making it harder to vote in other places. But I didn't know your take on this, because there's definitely, a lot of times people say they want, to have the right to vote available to many people, but this could actually limit that voting ability.
Well, I mean, my thing is, the immigrants have to understand that they're not, oblivious in an exemption, or they're omitting them or whatever. They don't want them to side. They have to understand this is a chess. This is a strategy move, that they don't want them to side with the Democrats and they don't want them to vote Democrat. So they're basically saying, the argument that has been put forth is if a person is not a naturalized citizen, they should not be allowed to vote. Their child should not be a naturalized citizen, and their children should not be automatically given U.S. citizenship and things like that. So all of that is in the long run is going to affect their ability to vote. And my thing is, a lot of them want to, side with the Republicans and, consider themselves white and things like that. You're not, oblivious, like I said, to receiving the brunt end of the racism and the politics. You're just getting it at a lesser rate than black people. So they feel like, hey, if I side with the white people, then it's not going to affect me. But no, it's going to affect you because they don't like you either. You know what I'm saying? Because you have to understand that for a long time they didn't even accept the Jewish community. And then they went back some years back, and then they started accepting Jewish and white because they didn't feel like the Jewish community was white. But see, at the end of the day, black people supported the Jewish community. They shopped in their stores, they supported them, they gave them business and things like that. So my thing is, when the tables turn and vice versa, when you coming out against Nick Cannon because he criticized you because he gave his opinion, I have a major problem with that. You know what I'm saying? But y'all can get on social media and talk about black women and black men and call us all kind of derogatory names, and nothing happens to you guys and things like that. Hey, I wasn't the one that was over there throwing your asses in an incinerator. Black people wasn't over there. Black people were incinerated as well, along with you. But when you don't understand history and when you don't know your history, you don't know that. You know what I'm saying? So y'all want to come over here and say, oh, black people are anti-Semitic. They're anti this. They're anti that. No, we're anti bullshit. We have earned the right to speak and a right to say what we want to say, and things like that or whatever. But y'all getting your feelings and we're gonna boycott, we're gonna do this. Go ahead, do what you're gonna do, because I don't support y'all anyway. Because my thing is, if you can get on, if y'all people can get on social media and talk about black people and you have no repercussions, and you want to say that because Nick Cannon voiced his opinion and how he felt and things like that, you want to cancel him and cancel other people, then it is what it is. But like I said, nobody is above reproach. Nobody is above being criticized and things like that. You want to criticize black women, and they criticize us all the time. But the second that we come back and we start swinging, and we say something, oh, then it's a problem. So it's fine when they do it, but it's a problem when we do it. Go ahead, Mark.
Now, I was going to say that that's actually an interesting segue because of a couple of things. One, the immigrant population here in North Carolina has increased from making up 2% of the population in 1990 to 8%. So you're totally right that it is part of their effort to curtail that voting bloc, because even Representative Dowell said she thinks this bill is a push by Republicans to discourage immigrants from voting and to scare people into believing non-citizens are voting in elections. So definitely there's some politicization going on there as well. But I was watching this commercial, and we've talked about Mark Robinson before and all along this line, and it was a fellow pastor of his, and the pastor was basically saying that Mark Robinson did not speak for him because that's the brother that's the lieutenant governor that's very conservative, that's running for governor here in North Carolina, and he was saying some of the things that apparently Mark Robinson has said about women and particularly black women. And he was saying that is not nearly the kind of person that I want to represent me, because it doesn't represent my views, because apparently he said some very derogatory things to you sisters and all along those lines, because I guess he's trying to play to his white base and all along those lines. But he has definitely said some derogatory things. And like I said, I was watching that commercial yesterday and a couple of other days, and the fellow pastor of his was basically going like, nah, you ain't speaking for me, and don't even pretend like you're speaking for me, and all along those lines. So it was interesting to watch that commercial that's been recently released by one of the progressive organizations here in North Carolina, and all in that space. I do have to ask you, back to
let me respond before you ask me the question. But I'm not surprised or whatever, because these black people out here like Tim Scott are selling their souls to the devil, and for acceptance, white acceptance, and things like that or whatever. And I'm just like, your man got to be turning over in a grave. For you out here, shucking and jiving, because that's exactly what a shuck and jive is, with the governor down there, and, because he's made comments about, women not being able to vote, and they want to go back to the point where women not being able to vote and women not having no rights and, things like that or whatever. I mean, dude, if you take away women's suffrage and things like that, what do you think is going to happen next? You know, what do you think they're going to do with black people? You won't be in the position that you're in. They're going to try to, say that black people can't vote because, at the end of the day, every 28 years, they have to go through the Supreme Court and they have to approve, black people even voting. And a lot of people don't even understand that. You know what I'm saying? And, they're out here, spewing all this misinformation and all this bad knowledge and don't understand, politics and don't understand history and how it has a funny way of repeating itself, and things like that or whatever. And they don't even understand the strategy behind the Republicans in the end game of them trying to, even with the taxes, them trying to, mess over the poor people with the taxes and even with education. They don't want you educated. They want you dumb. They want American dumb. They want the society where they can't read because guess what? When you can't read, you're going to believe a whole lot of propaganda and things like that. But, it's I've been seeing posts on Facebook, TikTok and things like that to, saying that, a person who reads and do research will always sound crazy and controversial to a person who does not read and who does not conduct research. And that is a true statement, because, when you read and you research and you can communicate, you sound argumentative. They're saying, why are you arguing? Why are you being this? Why are you being heightened? Why are you being aggressive? I'm not being aggressive. I'm just stating my opinion. I'm just, letting you know how I feel. I'm letting you know what I think. But, if you're not on that level, then, it's going to pose a challenge and it's going to pose a problem. But they want them like that because guess what? When they're uneducated and they're illiterate, they can pass things over on them. Because like they say, one thing, like they said, you can take the most uneducated and most poorest, white person, and convince them that he's better than a black person, and you got him for life. And that's what they have done.
Well, speaking of that and everything, apparently there is a controversial pastor. He got the same first name that I do, but fortunately he does not spell it the correct way because it's supposed to be spelled with a C. I'm just making a little joke there for those folks that want to spell it with a K and everything. But Mark Driscoll, who has gotten in all kinds of trouble in the past, and apparently recently he had made a request because hours after the former president was convicted of 34 felony charges of falsifying business records, Driscoll posted a plea for the second coming of Christ. So he's actually asking, and this is how he posted, Lord Jesus, we would humbly request that you return before November 5th. And apparently he's getting some pushback from that. Some people are thinking it's a great idea, but apparently other people are going like, you got to be kidding me. You're going to ask for the like one of the supreme leaders of the world to come back just because you're not going your way and everything. So definitely, apparently he's put out some comments that he is asking that before the election comes, that we see the second coming and all along those lines. So definitely one commentator even asked, this seems too USA centric. Christ may have larger plans for world history. Even after the West will have collapsed, give other continents a chance. Let's just pray for God to intervene in general and everything. So you got people that are either for him or against him and all along those lines. But apparently he was asking for the second coming, just like apparently, and that's what I was going to ask you about, not so much that, but Marjorie Taylor Greene refuses to call Dr. Fauci a doctor because she was bringing up this whole notion of how science in general is torturing the dog, the beagles to be exact, because I think she's a beagle lover and all along those lines. But what is your take of Marjorie Taylor Greene? Because apparently she went on another one of her rants, this time with Dr. Fauci, as they were calling him in, to testify about the whole COVID reaction and the pandemic response. It's the word I was looking for. But apparently she went on one of her rants and people were getting on her about her lack of decorum because you're supposed to follow Robert's Rule of Order and a number of other things that apparently she's nowhere near doing. So what is your take and how come she gets to get away with all of this craziness? Whereas if you did that, they'd probably like run you out on a rail. But you wouldn't do that.
Oh, well, of course, because I mean, she's a mediocre white woman, and I'm quite sure that they don't want to embarrass her and, put her in a place. But, that's mediocrity at its finest when they allow them to, just come out, speak and do whatever. But they have been doing this from the jump and they should have corrected her a long time ago. So now the cat out the bag, now it's going to be harder, like reel her in. But, nothing surprised me with this lady. She's very idiotic. She's not, intelligent. Her responses, her responses speak volumes, when you have someone who can just say the, idiotic things that she says and actually believe her own lies, it speaks volumes. And then, you have people that's following her that actually believe the lies, so You know, when it comes to intelligence, she doesn't have any, and it's clearly evident that she doesn't have any. And I think she spews a lot of hate and rhetoric to stay in the know, and to just cause controversy without even some type of formal understanding, because it's clearly not there that she does not have any type of formal understanding of the decorum of the process of Congress and how the government works, based off of her responses, and even trying to oust her own Speaker of the House. The level of understanding is just not there. So she missed those civics and free enterprise and the other government classes that that was being taught in high school and in college. So nothing surprised me when it comes to this lady. She's just idiotic, and every time she opens her mouth, it shows every single day. And for her to disrespect Dr. Fauci and not call him Dr. Fauci, that's like the ultimate disrespect. Because I've actually had some lady do the same thing to me. Oh, I don't feel like I should call Dr. Anthony Dr. Anthony. That's my title, bro. You're gonna call me Dr. Anthony, because I'm not gonna respond to you, and I'm not gonna answer to you unless you address me properly. So I mean, when people do things like that, it's a tactic, and it's a mechanism to try to ruffle your feathers and try to get under your skin, and things like that or whatever. But Dr. Fauci runs circles around her. This man was number one in his medical class. This man has done so much things for medicine, and being an allergy specialist and a disease specialist and things like that. So I mean, just one sentence from him can just shut her down permanently when it comes to like being being an intellectual, because we clearly see that she's not.
Yeah. And definitely, that's very much the case and everything. Apparently, people are still getting on Mr. Driscoll too, because I did see some of the comments. Because even some of the people said that Trump has said repeatedly, and I quote, "I am not the savior, Jesus is." So I guess maybe he's trying to appeal to the Christian voters and everything. So, but then again, I'm not even sure that he is actually a church-going individual. I'm not saying that I go to church regularly either. So, but I'm wondering how often he goes and all along those lines. But yeah, definitely there are some people, I guess, that are wanting the whole system to be intervene and for there to be a saving grace and something to come rescue us all. I mean, didn't we hear that during the slavery times when people would tell us, don't worry about what's going on, how you're getting whipped and all of that, because it'll all be better in the by and by and all in that space. So that has been definitely something that has been used for a number of years and everything. So what is your thoughts?
I mean, to each his own. You believe what you want to believe. You pray to who you want to pray to. These people out here spewing hate. The Bible was heavily used against African and enslaved people and things like that. Things were purposely taught wrong to enslaved people and stuff. So I don't for me, I don't listen to any of them and whatever rhetoric that they're spewing. Whatever you got going on is between you and the God that you pray to, because I could care less about anything that comes out of these people's mouth, because we already know that they lie like rugs, and they're gonna lie to save face, they're gonna lie to show face, and they're gonna lie to support what they want to support, and they're gonna change the narrative to an alternative narrative to fit the bill that they want. So clearly this is what he's doing, and anybody who is following this person and donating and giving money, you just basically is an ATM for these people, because that's what they want or whatever. They want your money, and nothing is going to be done about it. They want you poor. They want you to support these idiotic claims and whatever else they got going on, just to say that hey, I'm a Republican and I donated money. Because at one point Trump was telling people that they need to send their whole Social Security checks to his donation campaign, something that they wanted to cut out, because they said it's an entitlement program. People are entitled, but people are actually entitled because this is a program. It's a paid into program. So you're actually entitled to receive your Social Security. So, my thing is, like, people just got to read and they have to understand. And a lot of times people are not reading and they just don't understand. And it's just idiotic how they respond with, the responses and the things that they say. They're repeating sound bites off of, like Fox News and things like that or whatever. And from people who are not as adept and astute into the politics and into the situation. So they're taking bits and pieces, they're chunking it, and they're making it into their own. And it's all lies and it's all fallacy and it's all BS.
No, it's definitely BS and everything. Apparently, some folks are finding some serious irony in Trump rallying against what he calls the injustice of his own conviction, and in a courthouse where 5 Black and Latino teenagers were wrongly convicted in a case Trump supported very viciously and all along those lines. And that was the Central Park 5 case, because that was one of the times that Trump actually put his foot once again in his mouth and everything. But definitely looks like that he's even adopted the language of some of the criminal justice reform advocates, and he claims that Black Americans and Latinos can relate to him because prosecutors are out to get him, like they have been out to get many men and youth in their communities. But Maya Wiley, a New York civil rights attorney and CEO of the Leadership Conference on Civil and Human Rights, said Donald Trump's conviction is going to be a problem for him with many Black people, because guess what? Many Black people do not like people who violate our criminal laws. Black people are disproportionately the victims of crime. It's not that they just side with people who've been convicted of a crime. So Wiley, who ran unsuccessfully for New York City mayor in 2021, said the city's Black and Hispanic residents all also remember Trump's comments about the Central Park jogger case. They haven't forgotten the fact that Donald Trump took out a full-page ad suggesting the death penalty for the Central Park 5, who had been exonerated and were the victims of an abusive system. And even the Reverend Al Sharpton called Trump's conviction a symbolic measure of justice for them. This is the same building that Antron McCray, Kevin Richardson, Yusef Salim, Raymond Santana, and Corey Wise all passed into day after day as they endured a show trial for a crime that they did not commit. Sharpton said after the verdict was read, and he said, now the other shoe is on the other foot. Donald Trump is a criminal, and those 5 men are exonerated. And even Yusef Salim, who won a seat on the New York City Council last year, said he didn't take pleasure in the former president's guilty verdict, even though Donald Trump wanted me executed, even when it was proven that I was innocent. So it looks like there's some people that are looking like, what does the old saying go that Malcolm X talked about? The pigeons are coming, the chickens are coming to roost, and all of those lines. So it does look like that. It could be very much the case. I did see some other news we were talking earlier about the Latin population and everything, but it looks like they just elected a woman president, and now it does look like Biden is planning to return migrants back toward the other side of the border, because he just announced some new asylum restrictions at the border, where he is expected to announce a plan tomorrow to temporarily seal the U.S.-Mexico border and restrict asylum for immigrants. So it seems like this could be a point of contention with the new president of Mexico and everything, since they just elected a woman president and all on those lines. But I just wanted your take on the border situation and whether it's something we need to be addressing, and will this woman be able to fix that border situation?
So before we get that, the New York, the Central Park 5 or whatever, Trump was he was dead set on making sure that these young men went to prison and making sure that these young men, suffered a fate that they shouldn't have, suffered. And that just goes to show you how, the law and the penal system, plays against, young Black children and young Latino children when parents do not have the means to get, attorneys, and do not have the means to support, their children into, who were, wrongly accused and in trouble with the law. And, clearly there was a lot of things that were done wrong in the case. The children were questioned without their parents being present. The children were coerced into, admitting that they did something when they clearly didn't. They were lied to, saying that, if they admitted to it, that they could go home and, things like that, or whatever. So, there was a lot of laws that was broken, and this should be a clear indicator right here. This should be the cusp, the precipice of, one of the of what I was talking about when I say, would you be treated the same way as Donald Trump? We see that this man has committed so many crimes, has done so many things, and these people out here still saying that he's not guilty, and that people are making things up when it's documented evidence that this man has falsely falsified records, falsely falsified all types of things, and he is guilty. They went after, for prime example, they went after Marilyn Mosby in Baltimore, a local DA of whatever her title was over there, because she pulled money out of her out of her retirement fund to purchase properties in Florida. So my thing is, they can do what they want to do. They can make you guilty even when you're not guilty. And that's a clear example of them making her guilty, all because she went after those policemen who killed Freddie Gray. And so now we're here with Trump, and they're trying to make him innocent, although that there's mountains and mountains of evidence that this man has done so many things, even with his children, with the nepotism, and they selling rights to the White House and things like that. They said nothing about that, but they're still going after Hunter Biden for minuscule things and minute things that they say that he so-called claimed that he done. They're trying to fabricate and make things up on Joe Biden, saying that he's guilty of like certain things or whatever. So when they want you guilty, they can make you guilty. When they want you innocent, they can make you innocent. And this should be a clear eye-opening response to the Republicans, because they have said that anything that President Biden brings forth, that they're going to vote against it. So who's that gonna hurt? It's going to hurt the American people. And they don't understand, the American people don't understand how these Republicans are, playing chess, and they're playing checkers, and how these things, these bills and things are going to affect them. So Trump case is a prime example of, not being fairly prosecuted in, when it comes to the rhetoric and things like that or whatever. So, he's saying that, the trial was rigged. How was the trial rigged? You did what you did that. They have video recordings and, recorded evidence of all of you guys talking about making changes, inflating your numbers, making your properties seem as if they're worth more than what they're worth. And you're saying that it's a rigged trial. How is it rigged? You did these things, but you just feel like, oh, because I'm Trump, I'm not supposed to be prosecuted. I'm not supposed to go. I'm not supposed to stand before a judge. I'm not supposed to be, held accountable and things like that or whatever. But this is a strong indicator, that no one is above the law. No one is above the law. And, people got to understand, people with money feel like that they should not be prosecuted. They should not be held to the same standard. They should not be held accountable. They should not be held in any way, as if they are a convicted felon or a felon. But that's exactly what you are. You are a criminal, and you need to be held accountable. And these people just feel like he doesn't need to be held accountable. Now, as far as the woman president in Mexico, I wish her the best. I hope she does what she needs to do, because typically when we have women in power, we get things done. I'm not sure. I didn't read up on her platform, but I did read that she was, she was a leftist and she was elected. So I honestly hope that, she's able to, forge treaties and bring things that she needs to bring to the forefront. But I also read that they were kicking Americans out of Mexico who were undocumented, who were over there illegally, and they're sending them back to the United States. So I guess they're, doing tit for tat with, the extradition of the Americans, like we're doing with the Hispanics. But it is against the law for you to enter the country, and not seek citizenship and not follow the rules, and things of that nature. So like I said, I hope she's successful. I hope they can forge any type of treaties to work together, and I wish her nothing but the best. And back to you, Mark. Do you have any more questions?
Just really quickly, I was going to give a shout out, because we've got some people watching us on Instagram. I can't see what they're doing on our Facebook and everything else, but I was going to give a shout out because apparently they're liking our conversation, because they haven't run away doing our conversation. But Anne Claire is watching and is joining the conversation, as has Melissa JJJ, looks like 3 J's and everything, and Jim East, who has done some programming here on the network, is watching, and somebody called Baker's Banquet Band. So maybe we have an entire band that is watching our discussion as well. So they were all joining on Instagram. They can say when they joined and if they've gone off, and so far none of them have gotten off. They're still staying there and engaged in whatever we're talking about, and all along those lines. So they are actually watching and listening. And if they've got any comments, I hope that they will jump in the comment section on Instagram, LinkedIn, the Facebook, and the different other places that we are at, and all along those lines. But I did see those names. I thought I'd give them a shout out, since it's always good to acknowledge the people that we've got that are watching and all along those lines, and maybe they can even engage in some of the conversation with us as well. So just wanted to throw that out to you, since I did see that we've got some folks watching and they've even got names attached to them, so they can hopefully
Awesome
come out.
sauce. I was just saying, awesome. Continue to support, click, like, share. And, we come on every Monday from 6 to 7 with different topics, that we present that I think that, it's important and people want to, talk about and want to hear. So I want to switch up the conversation from, Trump and politics and things like that and head on over to, like some more subtle things such as Beyonce and how the AMC CNO sabotaged her movie, but kept Taylor Swift movie private and under wraps and things like that when I released when it was supposed to release. But that just goes to show you how what I've been saying. We not we, but they put faith in these people, and they show us every day that they don't give a damn about us. They don't give a damn about Black women. They hate, and they do things that are spiteful to try to deter people from supporting, making money and things like that or whatever. And I mean, it was like, my thing is why isn't they talking about canceling him? Why isn't there's a big uproar about him, doing what he did and, trying to, sabotage Beyonce. Because, my thing is, at the end of the day, this is a Black woman. And we need to show our support. You may not like her for whatever reason, but at the end of the day, like I said, in one way or another, you're going to experience that Black woman effect. You're going to experience that Black woman effect in the workplace. You're going to experience it in public. You're going to experience it, somewhere, like just the other day, as a matter of fact, yesterday, I went to get my nails done. I was like, she asked me the services I want. I said, I want a pedicure and I want to get a refill. So I'm sitting there, waiting on her to do my refill. And, I'm thinking that she's doing a manicure. This broad took my nails off. And I'm like, why did you take my nails off? That's not what I said. I said I wanted a refill. And so, the guy was like, oh, there was a language barrier. What language barrier is he talking about? Because I specifically said refill, not remove. So, I'm going back and forth and, things like that. He was like, well, I took $5 off. I'm like, so you're charging me for a service that I already had. And, that the other nail tech had to redo because she made a mistake. So I'm just saying, in all facets and all capacities of, life, we as Black women, we always go through some type of BS with a different race of, people.
No,
so I
but
would never, as a Black woman, go against a Black woman for no other race.
no,
And
but,
that's just,
but in that same space and everything, there's this great white savior complex that goes on as well, and apparently there's some people that are upset at a sister because she gave a hard foul to Caitlin Clark, and there's even some debate about whether the Indiana Fever should bring in an enforcer into the arena to protect Caitlin and all along those lines, because there have been definitely enforcers in basketball. I mean, some people would say that that's what Dennis Rodman was, and a number of others on the NBA side have served that role, even Bill Laimbeer back in the day and everything. So there's this notion of bringing somebody in that I guess will protect their investment, or what they feel is their investment, because there's this talk of bringing in enforcer in, and apparently one of the commentators got in trouble because they have now apologized, because they basically called her and it was Pat McAfee that is now apologizing for calling Caitlin Clark a white, that word that also has to deal with certain breeds with dogs as well, or the female of the word for the female dog that is a derogatory term. So apparently he apologized for calling her that term and everything. But then Brittany Griner had delivered her forward take on the whole Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese situation as well. But definitely Kennedy Carter has no regrets about her vow on Caitlin Clark, and even though they have upgraded the foul now and everything. Well, what's our thoughts? Are they trying to protect their assets? Because apparently they
So my
have
thing
grown
is,
from.
the problem that I have with this is, why are they supposed to change their game because she is in the WNBA? A lot of things. If historically, if you look at her playing basketball in college and things like that, the referees did not call fouls on the other girls, or they may have called fouls. Even though Caitlin Clark, she fouled, she pushed off, nothing was called on her. So now she's being held accountable. Now she's playing against grown women. So now they want to change the game because, they feel like, the grown women are being too aggressive. They can't foul her like that. They can't do this. Then she doesn't need to play. Because I'm a ball player. I played ball when I was in school. I was all district. I was all of that. I did all of that stuff. So, when we played aggressive. We called it the square. I played with dudes. It wasn't out there. I wasn't out there talking about, don't foul me because I'm a girl. No, I got in the game and I played. So my thing is, I'm not saying that they supposed to, like purposely hurt or whatever. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying they should be out there playing ball without all the, criticism that, she's doing this, she's doing that. Somebody said a pick. She wasn't paying attention. She ran into the person and fell down. So they were supposed to move because she wasn't paying attention. You know what I'm saying? That's not how it works. She has to step up and she has to get acclimated to the game and she has to get acclimated to playing in the WNBA. And that's just the bottom line because it's not going to be a walk in the park like it was when she was at Iowa. It's not going to be her always having open shots like she was in college, like she was at Iowa. These women are aggressive. These women are playing ball. These women are playing for keeps. So why is it that the rules and things need to be changed because she is being fouled and she is, they feel that, they're being too aggressive towards her. The rules shouldn't be changed.
No,
Either
I
you
use
step
the
up
rules
or
on
you decide.
you got to get toughened up and everything. And apparently McAfee is trying to say that he was using that term as a compliment and everything, but definitely that is not a term that anybody likes to be used, whether it is a man or a woman, and all along those lines. So the fact that he was trying to twist it and say that he was trying to use that as a complimentary word is something that I'm having a hard time dealing with because he said that
Honestly, I
Langston.
don't care. You know what I'm saying? Honestly, I don't care because these folks have talked about Angel Reese like a dog, calling her illiterate hood and everything else or whatever. So she's just getting a dose of what Angel has been experiencing since Angel shown the light on her and in that game when she was doing the Tony Yayo and things like that or whatever. So because people fail to realize is Caitlin was talking shit. Caitlin was doing it. Caitlin was doing a whole bunch of stuff to, players and things like that, but they were okay with it. But when the stuff started happening to her, then it was a problem. Oh, we need to have them play better. We can't have them doing this. We can't have them doing that. No, if she's going to be out there, she's going to play the game. She's going to talk smack. She's going to do this. She's going to do that. Then she should be able to handle whatever she's dishing out. And that's just the bottom line. She pushes off. Before the hard foul, she threw an elbow. Did they not say that? Because it's clearly been circling around, social media that she threw that elbow. Then she got fouled hard. So, my thing is what's good for the goose is good for the gander. So she can go out there throwing elbows and pushing off and things like that, but she can't get fouled hard. Come on
Yeah,
now.
let's look at some more positive news of one of our sisters and everything because a sister that shattered records and people are actually praising her and they're definitely even praising her parents who have definitely done a great job is apparently Simone Biles won her all-around title at the U.S. Championships and has now won a record 9
Mhm.
U.S. Championships on the cusp of the 2024 Paris Olympics. So definitely that's what folks are talking about, including her mom's reaction to her flawless vault performance, I should say, and everything. So it looks like she is definitely doing well and is prepared to make some noise in the Olympics and all along those lines because it seems like some people are even thinking that she may be unstoppable as she's ready to claim a ninth national title as she claimed that ninth national title. But what is your take on this woman who is now, I think she's one of the highest paid female athletes and is the first gymnast to rank among the world's highest paid female athletes in that category. So it does look like that is some positive news, and we can follow her kind of successes on TikTok and other places as well. But any take on Simone Biles and her success so far?
Oh, definitely. This is another case of, black woman, a black girl magic, black woman excellence, and things like that. Because they did in years past, they used to deduct points from her because they said the other gymnasts couldn't compete. The other gymnasts couldn't do what she was doing. So they took points away from her. So, even when she came up with the Biles 1, the Biles 2, and those are, moves that are named after her because she competed in an international, she did the move in an international competition, and so the move was named after her. And so even though she was doing her own moves and things like that, they still penalized her for doing her own moves because they claimed the other gymnasts could not compete, and they could not keep up with her. But she's an all-time all around amazing person, amazing gymnast, amazing athlete, and things like that. But again, it just goes to show you how when we come out of the ranks and we take over and we dominate, they try to do something to knock you down a notch. And this is another example, just like Angel Reese, just like Serena and Venus, just like the other tennis player, just like all the black women, just like Beyonce, they want to knock you down a notch.
But in that same category, it's also a great victory apparently for Black Love, because one of the people that was praising her was her husband, Jonathan Owens, who is a football player with the Chicago
Yes.
Bears, I believe it is, and all along those lines. But he was praising her. He's a Chicago Bears safety. So my brother, who's a diehard Bears fan, will be glad to know that she is married to a Bear, and all along those lines in that space. But he was definitely praising her and was praising her amazing accomplishment. So it does look like this could be a positive example. We see all the negative examples sometimes of Black love and all in that space. So definitely that could be an amazing thing that could be part of the success as well. So, as a matter of fact, he said, I couldn't be more proud of how well, this is what she said. I couldn't be more proud of how I'm doing this time in the year, and just getting the confidence over and over, get myself back in front of a crowd and just doing what I do in practice. She said in an interview at the competition, referring to herself as a veteran of elite gymnasts. I'm a little bit older, so I know exactly how to kind of reboot and recollect myself to move on to the next event, even if I feel like something wasn't how I wanted it to go. So it does look like she'll be heading to the Olympics. And like I said, it is definitely interesting because that is a fairly new couple, because they only tied their knot less than a little bit over a year ago in 2023. And the athletes have become each other's biggest fans and fiercest defenders. So definitely Bao took to the Instagram story last month to share a message to haters. I'm going to quickly address this. The joke was never a joke. Y'all are blatantly being disrespectful to my relationship and my husband, she wrote. So I'm going to go ahead and say this one time, respectively, F off. And you know what the F stands for, and all along those lines. So it definitely doesn't seem like they are going to just put up with any kind of commentary. And apparently Owens previously came under fire for calling himself the catch in the duo's relationship during an episode of the Pivot podcast last year. Biles addressed the public scrutiny on the Call Her Daddy podcast earlier this year. I was in the room. I was sitting on the chair. You couldn't just see me. You just couldn't see me on the videos. I was there for the whole entire video. I was feeling great. I was like, my man just killed that. They even panned over to me with that viral moment, and I just rolled my eyes and laughed. She added, he never said I wasn't a catch. He said he was a catch because he is. I've never met a man like him. A lot of people that meet him are like, oh my gosh, I want a man like that, like Jonathan. So apparently they even get criticized for when they catch on to each other and everything along those lines. So when people find their right mate, they even get criticism in that regard as well.
Well, the thing about it, he's receiving a lot of backlash because he originally said that when he met her, he didn't know who she was, and that was determined a lie. He actually researched her, and he already knew who she was and things like that or whatever. So I think anything that they do past this point, that they're going to receive some type of backlash based off of his prior actions and his prior statements and things like that or whatever. So my thing is, you should have said, I researched her, I knew who she was. I wanted to go out. I wanted to, meet her and, things like that or whatever. But initially, that's not what he said. He was like, he didn't know who she was and, trying to, run this whole different narrative. And then, people, because the internet is going to be the internet, and people are going to do what they do, and they're going to research, and they're going to put you out there when you say some stuff. And they found his comments, and they found, that he was basically lying when he said he did not know who she was initially, and all of the stuff that came before the relationship and the marriage, and things like that or whatever. He basically lied about it. So I think that's where a lot of the backlash is coming from, and is going to continue to come from for a little while.
Yep, and it'll be interesting to see if they get that backlash. I mean, people are still giving backlash to with the royal couple as well, because people are wondering whether that's going to go and how that's going to play out, and all along those lines. And there's been some backlashes about the Pope and his support of the LGBT community, and then apparently behind doors he was saying some things that weren't as supportful as what he said on his interview. I believe that was with CBS or one of those things. So definitely is interesting what people say in public and what they say in private aren't always the same thing, and everything in that space. So all of this will be interesting, because I do know that there was a lot of conversation even around what the future is for the royals, since apparently the certain members of the royals are not feeling all that well, and there is now trying to figure out the state of the lineage and who comes in to office depending on who leaves first, and all in that space. So it'll be fascinating to see how this all plays out.
Definitely. I mean, like I said, you have to, I wouldn't just say be careful, but you have to understand, whatever you say is, pretty much permanent on the internet. Even if you delete it, it's still not deleted. It still can be, resurfaced, rehashed, and pull back up and things like that or whatever. So, he made comments. He just sort of stood on his word and said, I researched, like I said, I did this and I did that, but he tried to, go about it in a different manner and in a different way and things like that or whatever. So, it's just interesting that, they're, coming back with the, don't say this and don't say that or whatever. But, like I said, to each his own or whatever. He just should have been, straightforward and, open about, him researching her, him knowing who she was, before he, dropping her DMs and, things like that or whatever. So,
And then before we get out here, I know we've only got a few more minutes, but we saw, because I saw that this person did make a comment on our YouTube. So I don't know if you have any comment. I'm not exactly sure what they're talking about, but this is what Exodus 26.13 Pi said. It says, blame white women, Margaret Zanger, founder of the Negro Project, for our women of today. So I don't know if you've got any thoughts around what that means, or even what they're trying to say, and all along those lines.
Well, I mean, I think they're alluding to the fact that back in the day they did the whole housing and WIC and all those programs where black women wasn't allowed to have black men in the home and things like that. So they're basically trying to say the home structure and the structure of black women were tainted by these people. But a lot of the thing is historically incorrect is black men did not want black women back in the day, and it's a proven fact that there's laws on the book that force black men to marry black women, because when slavery was over, the black men were going after white women and things like that or whatever, and a lot of them did not engage with black women, and so they put a law, and it's a law out there that black men were forced to engage with black women and were forced to marry black women. So I mean, you can look at it from however standpoint or whatever, but at the end of the day, men, you need to step up, you need to do what you're supposed to do. Women, y'all need to step up, y'all need to do what y'all supposed to do, and y'all need to work together to build that unit, because nobody can control what happens in your household. That's between you and your mate. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's just like, I had a student once who said, oh yeah, the man is doing this, the man is doing that. I'm like, what man? I said, where is he? I said, what white man is sitting in here telling you not to complete your homework? What white man is sitting in here telling you not to read? What white man is sitting in here telling you not to study for your test? What white man is sitting in here telling you to, misbehave and do what you do and, things like that? Where is he? Because I want to meet him.
Yeah, but not that, I know we only got about Hey, Dr. Anthony, not only that, but I was looking on social media,
Mhm.
might have been on one of the groups that I belong to and everything, and they were talking about how if they had the right woman, they would not have to cook, clean, or do a number of other things. And I'm going like, that makes no sense to me and everything, because I think you should be able to do your own, able to obtain your own food if you're not going to cook it and everything. And you should definitely be able to do your own washing of clothes and things of that nature. But they were trying to make it seem as if when they had the right woman in their life that they would not have to deal with those things that I'm pretty sure their mom taught them how to do when they were young and everything. But they were trying to make it seem like the woman was going to be there to be their savior, and not then they would not have to do these basic things, which to me makes no sense.
But that's the thing about it, they want all these things, but then they did, when a woman asks for, certain things to, maintain the house, maintain the livelihood and things like that. Oh, she's a gold digger, she's that. Which one you want? You want the woman to, run the house and do things that she's supposed to do, or you want her, doing whatever. And it's just, they don't understand that a marriage and a relationship is a partnership. It's not a one-sided perception, conception, or anything like that. It's a partnership. When you're in a relationship, you put 100, they put 100, and it's something that you guys work towards. Now, they want a submissive woman. You have to give her something to be submissive to. You can't be, dictating and, telling her, oh, I want this and I want that, I want that, because that's not submission, that's control. And they don't understand that, submission and control, there's a fine line between it. And they want control. They want to sit at home, not do anything. They want the woman to work, take care of the household, cook, clean, take care of the kids, and do whatever else, pleasure them sexually, and still get up the next day and do what they're supposed to do and go to a job and maintain their house and all of that stuff. These men nowadays are trying to place unrealistic expectations on women. That's why women are like, hey, I choose my peace. I can do bad by myself. I can do these things alone. I don't have to deal with the headache, and I don't have to deal with the foolishness. I don't have to deal with his unrealistic expectations. And my thing is, like, honestly, do you honestly believe that you're going to get that out of a relationship? And if she does give that out of a relationship, more power to you, because I'm not doing it. It's we're in this together. It's not one-sided. So, with that being said, the clock on the wall says that's all. We do have some lively conversations. We will have more topics that we bring to you on the next show. So make sure you guys click like and share, and invite somebody to watch the show. If you would like to be a guest on the show, please, hit me up. We can, discuss with you about scheduling a time for your interview and scheduling a time to discuss what you would like to discuss. But, like I said, the clock on the wall says that's all. This is my loves. Peace out. What's up? What's up? What's up? Welcome to the All Around. I'm your gracious host, Dr. Anthony. Please tune in on Mondays at 6 p.m. for your entertainment purposes. We will hit current topics, old topics, and everything else in between. Be there or be square. Deuces, my loves.